Have a seat on your porcelain throne. It's time to talk some shit on the Powell movement.
Welcome to the Powell movement. I'm your host, Mike Powell, and this week I'm excited to have a guy that I have everything and not so much in common with. My final snowboarder on the Powell movement and a dude who drips style, Zeb Powell. Zeb and I not only share the last name and a love for snow, but we're also from the Southeast. He's from North Carolina, I'm from Virginia. But that's where the similarities end. Zeb is an adopted black dude with a shit ton of talent and style. I'm a cookie-cutter white guy with zero talent other than talking on a microphone at live events and interviewing people. And if you haven't heard me at a live event, I'll be on the microphone this weekend for Obliteride in Seattle to try to cure cancer faster. And I'm the best in snow. I just don't have a big name, so most events hire someone that's more expensive and not as good as I am. Sucks for me, and it sucks for your event. But if you want to level up your event, whether it's one of the many internet broadcasts that always need better commentary, or a live one where you need a shot of adrenaline and knowledge dropped in, that's what I deliver, so hire me. But this is not about me. It's about Zeb Powell. But if you know me, you know I have to say something about the current status of our world before I talk about Zeb Powell. And my rant will be very short this week. It's all about our supreme leader, our beacon of hope. And he's not only a great person, but he also just posted about a golf score that he had that makes him the greatest 80-year-old golfer in the history of golf. It's like we not only have the best leader in the world, we have an athlete like never before running our country. I love how much this guy lies, and I can't believe half our country still believes him. And I'll say this again. I hope he dies of natural causes very, very soon. And saying shit like that on this podcast, it's gotten me more emails than I've ever received before. Like the first 8 years or 7 years, I didn't get political at all. And I didn't receive that many emails unless it was about my guest. But now that I started talking a little bit about politics because I want to sit on the right side of history, I've gotten more positive emails than ever. A lot of people just thanking me for standing up for what I believe in a public forum. And really, I've had so many rants. And while I do get unfollows, I don't get people that are genuinely angry or disappointed or pissed in me. Except for one dude on the internet, a guy named Brasco1014. He's reached out to me before. He made fun of me and what I do for a living because I called the U.S. hockey team a bunch of clowns after they won gold because after they won it, immediately they came off as sexist and MAGA based on their comments and behavior, which the whole world saw. And they all apologized for once they realized how bad a look it was for their natural reaction to be sexist. And it totally was. But anyway, Brasco1014 is back this week, and here's what he had to say to me in his direct message. I just listened to your intro for the Eric Pollard episode. Do yourself a favor and go get some help. You seem like a nice guy, but anyone who wishes death on another man is mentally ill. You only get one life, man. Don't go through it with that type of energy. I love it when someone starts a conversation with, do yourself a favor. What a douchebag. It just makes me think, do you talk to anyone else like that? Do yourself a favor, Brasco. Why don't you go say a prayer for me in church or something? Maybe that will make you feel better about yourself. While I am coming off some my wife died last year energy, sharing my take doesn't impact my daily energy or make me mentally ill. It does make it known how I feel about the sexist, racist shit going on, which you're so blinded by that you don't even realize you're a part of it. What will make me feel better, outside of him dying from natural causes, would be if you stop listening to this podcast, and more importantly, please don't email me again. But even if you do email me, I won't be answering. As when you listen to this podcast, I'm going to be in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, with 15 family members enjoying each other's company. That's what this mentally ill dude does. Fuck you, Brasco1014. This trip's going to be awesome, and it's good I've been so busy lately because it makes me forget that I'm ending this podcast. And this is like the fourth to last intro I'll record. So that's my little rant. And now it's time for the most important snowboarder of our time, Zeb Powell. But before we jump into it, I want to thank Elan Skis and Outdoor Research for their continued support. They're supporting this show until the end. Those are my sponsors. Now it's time to talk to the present and future of snowboarding, Zeb Powell. Well, I thank you for making time. I know your life is crazy busy, man.
No worries. Thank you for considering me.
Oh, dude, I've been trying to get you on the show for a long time, but you've been so busy, and it worked out really good because my show's ending. And it's like my last name's Powell, your last name's Powell, so it's Powell-on-Powell to end it.
Hey, it sounds like it needed to be done.
That's what I was thinking too. So usually I just jump right into these things. And I know that we're going to be even more pressed for time because I'm late, so I'll jump right into it. First and foremost, we have the same last name. And when you were a skateboard kid, did everyone ask you if you were related to Powell Peralta?
No, no one did actually.
Oh, it's so funny, man. Everybody thought that I was related to Powell Peralta for some reason, and I definitely wasn't. But was it a cool name to have, given that you were a little skate kid and Powell was pretty big back then?
All right, so we're talking about the company like Powell Industries.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, dude. Honestly, not as much as you would think. I thought it was always fun having like power boards were a thing, but honestly, I never really got them. I was just like rocking like almost boards and like Plan Bs and shit.
Gotcha. And so maybe the Powell name didn't resonate through skateboarding, but the way I've named my podcast, I call it the Powell Movement because it's kind of a poop joke, like a bowel movement, but I call it Powell Movement. And I always ask people about Powell Movement stories, like, have you ever split a rail or had some terrible crash that created an accident in your career?
Actually, funny enough, no, but I actually remember one time, I think I tried to board side or front lip this gnarly DFD at Stratton Mountain. I think it was Suntanner. It was like their like slope style park, like big features. And I think I zeeched through it and hit the kink, and like the next down was like 15 feet, and just like Superman and landed like stomach on the rail, but like dick first. So like fully just like pinched my dick in between my stomach and the rail, and like that shit hurt. I remember that one for sure. Just like laying to the side with my coach leaning over me and a few friends.
That sounds like it would leave a mark, but I'm not going to ask you about that. But that's me trying to tie our last names into the show. And after the show, I'll get your address and send you a bunch of the Powell swag that I have, because I have some cool koozies and t-shirts that I think you might like. But it's not like you need swag, because based on the brands that you have right now, I mean, Red Bull's on your head, your outerwear is Burton, your feet are 32, and everything else is brand Jordan, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of drowning in it, dude. It's hard to keep track of everything, honestly. Anyone you ask who knows me knows that like I have stuff in every state, from friends' houses to my snowboard bags when I leave at places to snowboard bags that I ship to like, you know.
You're a nomad.
Yeah.
You have like pods all over the world that you drop stuff off at, and then you can just fly there, and it's like you've got a place that you can stay, and there's no need for you to really have a place. I think you do have one in Burlington, but you don't really need one because you're so busy.
Well, funny enough, I have a place as of last year just because stuff got too crazy and I needed like a place to actually come back to and like reside. But before that, yes, truly was a nomad and truly did have stuff accumulating in North Carolina. I had stuff accumulating at a storage unit in my friend's house in Burlington, Vermont. Then I had some stuff accumulating at my manager's house in Boston. And then some accumulating at the Red Bull house in California. That's just stuff that accumulates. We're not talking about the stuff that I just travel with. I swear to God, if I'm on the road for more than a month straight, like it's usually like a month, two months straight, basically my bag just accumulates stuff from like events where I get swag to actually like showing up to sponsors' headquarters and getting unreleased stuff to just shopping, you know, just for the love of the game, like just getting new stuff because we're in New York or something.
So are you everybody's favorite? Like, do you give out clothes and stuff because you have too much of it anyway, and you're just like, hey, man, take this shirt. Hey, man, take this.
Yeah, I'd say some of my friends are very hyped on that, but most of them, I'm casually like, there's some dope shit that I have, and I'm casually like, you want this? And they're like, what? Like, I'll be packing to leave somewhere. Like, I got to leave somewhere in like 40 minutes. I'm like, you want this? They're like, what do you mean? Like, no. I'm like, dude, take it. They're like, no. I'm like, dude, take it. Like, I don't fucking want it. And they're like, what? I'm like, yes, take it, please. I don't like, like, get it out of my life. So some people are super hyped, and then others are just like, what the heck? But that's a common reoccurring theme of mine. If you know me, you know that's how I am.
And now the stuff that you're getting is a lot of it's going to be brand Jordan stuff. And that's a brand that goes way beyond snowboarding. And with that partnership, how does it even begin?
From what point?
Does Jordan reach out to you? Do you have your people reach out to Jordan and be like, hey, Zeb loves what you're doing? Or how do they even make the match between Zeb Powell and Michael Jordan?
The match has been said a little bit before, just like between me and Michael, like there's semblances and such. But it always seemed kind of like, oh yeah, like that is crazy, but it never like dreamed of that happening. But I guess other people were because there was actually someone at Jordan Brand who was one of the athlete managers for like everything not basketball. And yeah, he scouted me honestly through Instagram. And funny enough, I get a lot of Instagram DMs. So half of them I'm like, that's bullshit. Like, no way.
Yep.
So I think I saw that one in the midst of the season and it was like madness. So I didn't think anything of it. Then my social media manager called and saw it and sent it through to the group chat. And I was like, hey, this might be real. Because he checked like the LinkedIn and stuff and realized it was actually official. So he sent it to the group chat. And then, yeah, we emailed him and got on the phone and started talking about it. And next thing I knew, it was becoming a reality. It took a year to get through the door because he left halfway through. But yeah, got through the door and it's been a pretty crazy come up ever since, dude. I get like 3 boxes a month. Honestly, I'm drowning, dude. It's it's so much stuff, but it's super sick. I can really get whatever I want, wear whatever I want. So I'm blessed to be on the team and doing shit with them.
Have you had any one-on-one time with Michael Jordan?
Not one on one, but I did meet him. They do this thing called the Board of Greatness every 2 years, every 2 summers. And they just kind of go over brand alignment. It's like a summit for the team.
So it's kind of like the shit you do with Burton team trips where you go with all the Burton athletes, you talk about what's going to happen for the next season and products, but you're doing it on a completely different level with Michael Jordan because the Burton athletes make between 1 and 200 grand and the Michael Jordan athletes make between $2 and $25 million, and it's a different level of experience.
Dude, exactly. Like for Burton trips, we'll go to Europe and shit. We'll go all around and like have the most fun and do really dope shit, build boards, like build product and stuff. But like with them, it's just a whole nother level. Like, we're posted 4 seasons Greece, like, can go on catamarans, like can rent like catamaran like rides and instead of having like a designated room, they have like a whole designated like 4-story suite that is like the common area for them. And we're having welcome dinners at Nobu and shit. And they got giant security guards just like protecting us all when we go out in public. It is truly a different level, dude.
I mean, is that the most baller ass experience that you've ever had in your life when you travel with the brand Jordan guys? Is it kind of like, holy shit, they just put me up in like a $5,000 hotel room and I was watching a performance from one of our favorite artists with like 30 people and that's just how we roll?
Dude, yes, quite literally. I went with one of my athlete managers and this was literally an opening party at Nobu and like it's the first night, so everything's getting rowdy already. But we're just far enough from the hotel to where you like hop in a car and go up there.
Okay.
We hadn't been told who all was there, and like I was like, this is like the first time seeing everybody. So it's like smashing, mingling, whatever. Yeah, so we hop in the car to go back to the hotel, and I'm there with my athlete manager with Jordan, and then athlete manager with my agency, and she drops her bag or whatever, and Miguel hops in our car and picks it up for her and says thank you. Then I kind of just went on and it was ended up being dope. But the next day, like I was with both of them again, both the athlete managers, and we were joking about how Miguel was there. She was like, wait, Miguel? I was like, yeah, like he's the one who picked your stuff up and like gave it back to you. She was like, wait, what? Yeah, so like that was insane. I'm just speaking to that. I don't know if you were joking or not, but that's truly what it was.
Oh, no, I was dead serious because, I mean, you're in a lifestyle that's so different than snowboarding. I mean, you can take every single snowboard athlete that's almost ever snowboarded, add their whole salaries up, and it doesn't even match one of the dudes in that Jordan room other than you.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I guess that's facts.
Yeah.
You're just saying straight facts. It's true.
And then do people recognize you when you go in there? Because you're going into a room with probably like A-Rod and all these other badass athletes. I don't know if A-Rod's part of that program. I just threw that name out there. But when you walk into a room, is everybody looking at you like, we know this guy is someone, we see his Red Bull hat, and we know he's talented, but we don't know him because he's a snowboarder?
Funny enough, no. I mean, I guess not funny enough, but no, because I'm definitely smallest on the roster. still have a lot to prove, considering like just kind of what you said. Like our salaries don't even compete, and I think just as far as viewership, yeah, I have very powerful viewership, but these guys are playing ball. These guys are sponsored by Jordan. These guys are getting all these deals, and they also have 2 feet on me, pretty much all of them.
Yeah, totally.
So they actually have to look down to see me, which puts me in the range of all their athlete managers who are also not as tall.
Yep. But you got the hat.
I got the hat, and I am on Jordan.
Yeah.
But speaking to that, funny enough, like they don't know, they didn't like. I mean, I met some of them and they're dope, but yeah, they don't really notice me like that. But Jordan did come to speak. This is right before I met him, but he came to do a little speech, like a Q&A, and he was talking about. I forgot about this. My mom told me this the other day, but he was talking about where the brand's going and how it's not just basketball anymore. They like want to expand to like everything and really just representing greatness in all other sports, like really real cultural icons. And he actually brought up me to that example. And I was like, oh, like, that's insane. Like, he's about to list off a ton of other people too. Like, I'm just the first to be named. And then he stopped at that and kept going. And I was like, oh, holy shit. Like, he actually only used me as an example. Like, for
That's so cool.
so, in a room of people who didn't know me getting pointed out by Jordan, it didn't have to happen, but it really, makes me think and, believe I can really build to even a higher level than I am now.
Could there ever be a collaboration between 32 and 23 or brand Jordan where your pro model boot looks like a Jordan with dual boas?
Dude, that's a fun thought for sure. I genuinely don't know. I'm still working through stuff with Jordan and yeah, just kind of figuring out what even makes sense. I got to put my head together because it's such a big company. Now that I'm on, it's one thing, but they either got to really come up with an idea, which I think a lot has to go down for that to happen, or I have to come up with the idea and present it to them. So we're kind of like rebuilding, restructuring vision in general for the future for me, and that's definitely part of it. Really, kind of coming up with a strong plan to present to Jordan and really show up and build my legacy, not just wait for them to do it for me.
Well, it seems like they're really looking forward to working with you and doing things because when they launched the line that you're promoting in London, it was like they put $1 million behind that just to launch the line, I feel like.
I know, but I think they also are just moving on a completely different level than us too. So it's like, comparatively, it was I think it was a winter launch and popping, but I don't know. The way I feel, it's like there's still way more to do, and way more ways to show up and really elevate.
All right. Well, I'm going to tie this one more way to Michael Jordan and snowboarding. And Michael Jordan's been known to play cards and bet on golf and who knows what else. And there's nothing wrong with that. Do you ever gamble?
Funny enough, I don't have a single bone for gambling.
Yeah, neither do I really. But is it strange that if you compete in the X Games this year, people are going to be able to bet on if Zeb Powell wins knuckle huck? Is that a crazy thought? Like I could win $500,000 betting on you if I had that money to put up?
Yeah, it is crazy for sure. It's so wild, but it seems like that's the world right now, just betting in general. So if it's supporting us in some type sort of way, I mean, I guess let it rock because that's what it is now.
So you have no problems with gambling being part of the future of competitive snowboarding. It's just kind of the way of the world now.
I mean, that's what it's feeling like. How are we going to change that,
I think once you cross the threshold, you can't pull it back, and gambling is definitely a part of the conversation. It's like trying to make weed illegal again in states where it's legal. You can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like it's bringing in so much revenue. Like, unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know. So, what am I to do about it? Just let it rock. 'Cause I'm still gonna go do my thing and build what I want over here. I'm tapped into X Games and doing my thing there as well.
I guess what's interesting is that people like team managers and other people that are close to the sport, they're going to have that beta that'll give them an unfair advantage if they want to bet. Because if you're watching all the riders 4 days before training, you know who hit their head really hard and isn't really feeling it, and you know who's just lacing their tricks. And that's going to be a big help when it comes to gambling, I would think.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like they have that in basketball and baseball and such too. So same thing, different sport. It's just adding snowboarding to that queue, snowboarding and skiing to that queue, or to that landscape of whatever the hell politics.
It's time for my first sponsor break, and I'm going to start out with myself, or at least my next venture, and Roy Tuscany telling you what it's all about.
Hi, I'm Roy Tuscany, the founder of the High Fives Foundation and good friend of podcaster Mike Powell. When Mike told me he was ending his podcast, I was bummed and saddened. Mike is the best at pulling stories out of people, but when he told me about his new venture, interviewofyourlife.com, my mind was blown. While High Fives is a way for me to make a huge impact on people going through what I went through, interviewofyourlife.com is how Mike is going to do something special for you and your family. If you have a loved one and want to capture their story in their voice, Mike's proven interview style will draw out the best in them. I trusted Mike to tell the world my story, and you can trust his process to create a living, breathing, beautiful piece of content that captures your legacy. While Mike says the website won't be live until October 1, I know you can get more information now and get on the recording list sooner than later by emailing Mike at thepowellmovement.com.
Next up, it's Elan Skis. They produce the best, most quality skis on the market. How do I know? Well, I was at their factory last week, and it is absolutely state-of-the-art. The process and the machines that are used at Elan's factory don't exist anywhere else in the ski industry. And the fact that 99% of the materials are sourced from Europe within 400 kilometers of the factory, and 20% of those materials come from Slovenia, means they really know what they're building their skis with. I've been telling you that there's a reason why Ripstick is the most playful and fun ski in its category, and I let you know that it's made me a better skier and it will do the same thing for you. Well, now that I've seen the skiers who build those skis and the passion they have for building skis for Elan, there is no factory in China or Dubai or anywhere else on Earth that can compete with what Elan is doing right now. There's a reason a lot of you are skiing on a ski that comes built out of Elan's factory, and that's because they know how to build skis better than anyone else in the ski industry. But that's not the only thing Elan does. They also support cool things like this podcast, Glenn Plake, Stan Ray, and your local ski shop. Why do I bring up your ski shop? Because Elan knows that making the best product with the best athletes is not enough. Supporting the local retailer is so important to keeping skiing and the sport healthy. So next time you're on a ski trip, demo a Ripstick, and trust me, you're going to feel the difference and you're going to be a better skier, and you're going to want to buy a pair from your local shop after you demo them. To find out everything about Ripstick and all the other Elan products out there, head on over to elanskis.com. Those are my sponsors. Now let's jump back into the podcast. Regardless of who has an unfair advantage, when you think about the contests these days, the dudes that are going to win them are the guys with the future spins, and that's not really you, because you're known for oozing a level of style and creativity that snowboarding really hasn't seen in a long time. And while some slopestyle riders can make tricks look stylish, but it's really hard to do that with like a 1600 and some of the shit that people are spinning, but some people can do it. It's not always the case. What are your thoughts on like spin to win snowboarding?
Oh, God. In the wind snowboarding, dude. I'll put it this way. Hiroto is insane. Like my best friend. They're not best friend, but dude, I love seeing him. He's got a huge smile on his face. He's honestly just vibing up there too. And I saw him last year and we had that like kind of joke, like, get to the chopper. He's like, I am the chopper now. So it's like, I mean, yeah, I gotta respect that shit. But I mean, for me, I don't know. I think it just needs to be talked about more and like put in a different light of like, yeah, you know, we have that type of snowboarding where, yeah, you do spin all out and, you know, it's really pushing limits. But I don't know. I think I've been having this conversation with myself in general nowadays, but it's when you put a cap on something where the real change and like the real progression is made. It's like, say you can't go over triple, and that's generous, you know. It should be you can't go over double, but
Yeah.
say you can't go over triple. Like, what triples are you gonna do? Or, you know, like it makes your brain have to think differently. And I swear to God, I've been saying this so much, but everyone overlooks it. But it's like, that's where we're going to see the real fun and like real elevation of the sport is putting a cap on it and making these people with big spins have to think differently. Because people are going to give less and less of a fuck about a quad. Because at the end of the day, it just looks like a quad. You can't count how many spins it is.
Yeah. It's so fast that it's happening. And then, yeah, you can't see the trick happening because it's going so fast. And then if they don't stomp the shit out of the landing, they're not going to get scored well by the judges anyway. So you don't know what happened. And then they didn't land it and they didn't get a score.
Yeah. And then, you know, you have someone doing a technical triple or a super spinny quad. And it's like, okay, well, I don't know triples, but I feel like someone in the game who knows how to spin like that knows that that triple was almost more respectable than that quad.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And I'm sounding crazy right now. This is a crazy conversation.
Well, it's just like you're talking about aerials versus snowboarding.
Yeah, it's like you just see the soul get sucked away from it eventually. It's like how many spins you got to do? Like, are you really gonna just keep pushing these spins? Is there soul in it? Do you actually love this, or are you just trying to win? What's the difference between that? And like, why did you start snowboarding? And it kind of reverts to that question. It's like, if they land that trick, if they win that gold medal, I mean, that sounds crazy, and maybe I'm going too far into this, but it's like, if you genuinely sat them down and asked, why did you start snowboarding? Is it to win the Olympics, or was it because your friend showed you snowboarding and you had fun doing it?
Yeah, it's like a feeling before it becomes like a drive to win goal, I would think.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And it's like, I don't know, I could have done it. I mean, I think I could have really made it to that level, but I saw a different lane, and I just saw kind of a level of politics that overrode the soul and the style aspect of it.
But when you say that you could get to that level, because I'm not going to discredit your riding at all because it's insane, but one thing that's notable about your riding is you usually don't spin over 1080, and that doesn't win a contest in any contest today. But your style, your dripping style, where not everybody else is, but it's like a 1080 is kind of, a trick from 2004.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. I said get to that level as in I could have chased a competition circuit and, started spinning like that. Actually, I mean, I think I could have. I think athletic ability, durability, I think I could have. But I saw a different way to go, and I took it.
You wouldn't be smiling as much, I don't think, if you were focused on just winning and trick all the time.
Exactly. There goes the soul, and then also even you can do your best run and have your soul crushed, and you could have everyone thinking you did the best run too, but that one judge who thought differently can either discourage you or just slow down everything. It's crazy that it's left to that.
Yeah, and it's going to be left to that in freeride as well, because freeride's now getting into the Olympics, and we're going to see that start happening. And a lot of the backcountry riders that qualify through the Freeride World Tour are going to make their way into the Olympics. And eventually, are we going to see these freeride contests in the Olympics really become a trick contest of who can spin the most off a cliff? And that's what's going to win it, because it's not going to be about line selection and style like it is kind of now. It's going to be about tricks.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see what happens, honestly. I mean, I'm kind of new to the game too, but it's been pretty interesting and cool to see the way that backcountry snowboarding is perceived. It's like you can have a kind of a playful style, where you're actually flowing and not doing bigger tricks, but you're like, look the best, or you can go for the biggest cliff and win, or, you can be the one who did, I don't know, like a 1080 and win. But it's all, I don't know. I think that's even more subjective because it's more of a soul feeling as well. But I have no idea. It would be really fun to get a snapshot. I know Sage, put his 2 cents in on Instagram, but like kind of have a snapshot of people's feelings right now and see what it's like in 4 years as far as, what actually happened.
Yeah, where the soul of the sport is.
Yeah, exactly. Like, is it stronger? Is it worse? Are we learning from our mistakes? Are we taking note of what we thought and what actually ended up happening? Or are these thoughts Sage had gonna get lost in the algorithm of Instagram and social media like everything else does? Is there a real attention span for it? Or are we just spouting and talking and, blah, 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 blah? Or is it like a genuine care and so on?
Well, people aren't going to see you free riding in the Olympics, but they've seen you backcountry ride a lot more in the past few years between the Burton movie and some Warren Miller stuff you've been doing. You've definitely kind of shifted into the backcountry a little bit more, and that's pretty cool. I'm going to say that's our intro right now. I'm going to get into your life and times, and your life is different than a lot of people that I've had on the show, as you're adopted. And while it sounds like you came up from a loving, great household, have you ever really sought out your blood relatives, or do you not even think about that?
I thought about it a little bit, and I've actually did keep up with my mom, my birth mom, until 18. And I think you have the choice to meet them or not. And yeah, I didn't really know about it. And the way I grow up, it's a very hard question to want to answer.
Yeah.
It's like, what would it be like if I didn't meet them and however and blah. And yeah, I think it's one of the, honestly, that question is still ongoing.
Yeah, because it sounds like you had a great childhood and you had a great family that you grew up with, and it was like totally mixed. You had like
Or-
one birth child from the parents that you grew up with, and then they adopted 4 kids, and it was like a full on mixed household with all kinds of different people, and it was just awesome for you.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was a blessing. It was such a blessing growing up like that. It really kind of taught us to be us and not be white, black, orange, blue, or whatever the fuck. We were genuinely just us, for better or for worse, going out into the real world. But I don't know. It was a very great way to grow up, and I wouldn't change it for anything. It's made me who I am, and I think it's given me the outlook on life that makes it way easier to be me in this space. I think where you're challenged by, what color you are and how and such. So.
And when you think about what color you are and being challenged that way, you grew up in the South. I grew up in Virginia, so not too far from where you did. I went to Radford University. But growing up in the South, it's a little bit of a different world. And what's the worst thing that you've had to go through in your life based on race? Because sometimes, especially in the South, people aren't nice.
Funny enough, I think the worst thing I went through, pretty much I was just chilling one day snowboarding, having a blast. It was a wonderful day out. Wonderful day. Couldn't be knocked off the top at all. Like, me and my friends were vibing, snowboarding. I think the snow was like perfect. I want to say it was like a sunny Sunday or sunny Saturday. And random ass skier kid, no ski, didn't actually really ski, like couldn't even ride that fast. Passed by us as we were like just joking and kicking it, like we weren't riding. And he just yelled the N word at me.
Jesus.
And me and my friend, like this also out of what, probably 6 years of riding there. Never had that happen.
Okay.
We're at the mountain like every day. But me and my friends, I wasn't even hurt. Me and my friends just looked at each other. We're like, yo, no way that just happened. Yeah, and then we just kind of like chased him and threw snowballs. Like we were just doing kid shit. I genuinely remember when he passed by and said that. Me and my friends like, did that just happen? And it's like, I don't know. You got to remember, like we're on top of the world. We're like 13, sunny day, park spiring. Yeah, the snow's great. Like nothing could knock us off the top of the world, really. So for that to happen, it was just like some like sweat, no sweat at all. It was just like some dust. Had to dust that one off. Didn't even have to.
It was more of a shock, right? It was just like, holy shit, he said that?
Dude, not even a shock. It was just like it was more like it was more of a fucking joke. Like we were like, no way. But I think that's the craziest shit I had. But like my siblings have definitely been profiled in worse ways that makes it feel real and like something you gotta know.
And it is real. My life was easier than your life in terms of like if we were both in trouble for the same thing, it would probably be easier for me because our country's so fucked up and people are fucked up. And that's not right, but that's just how it is, right?
Oh, dude, but I mean, this is the craziest thing that happened in my family. But my brother, he got in a wreck like on like Russ Avenue. He made like Commercial Street with all the food.
Yep.
It was a pretty bad crash. He was about to get taken to jail, and if my white father didn't show up, he probably would have gone to jail. They were like, "Is this just who are you?" And he was like, "I'm his father." And yeah, they were like, "Oh, my bad," which is crazy. But I don't know. We don't need to really get into all that.
Yeah, we're going to get away from that right now. And I'm going
Yeah.
to get away with it by saying something about race and snowboarding because it's different. I mean, obviously you have talent and you're a marketable personality and you have insane style, but does being different in a world of white dudes make you stick out in a good way in the pro world of snowboarding?
I don't know, dude. I genuinely don't know. I just kind of be being me. I just do what I do. Sometimes I forget the color of my skin, bro.
Well, that's the best way to do it. And to think about it, I mean, you might not have been a snowboarder if your skate park didn't close, it sounded like, because you started skateboarding at like age 10 and your dad takes you to the skate park and you're like, this is the place of my dreams. And you like skate every day for a while and then they shut it down. Is that kind of the start of your standing sideways?
Dude, you know what's funny? Yes. Yes, it is. And the funny part is, for some reason, I thought it was 7, but I was skateboarding and like flipping and pushing limits on a skateboard when I was like 5.
Oh, dang.
Actually, I started skateboarding first, and I was talking to my parents like literally like 2 days ago. They're like, skateboard when you were 5, or you remember when you were like 5, like 4 or 5, or like, and I was like, wait, I was 4 or 5, and they were like, yeah, and I was like, no, that was like 7. They were like, no, you were 4, like 5. And I was like, shut the fuck up. I'm honestly like, what I was doing and how I was acting is so crazy that I don't even believe it. Like, I'm like so far from it that I don't even believe it. But to that point, yeah, I jumped on a skateboard, I guess, when I was like 5, maybe 4. I don't remember. I have to ask them again. And just kind of started going, dude.
Was the park pretty much your babysitter? Like your dad would drop you off and you would skate all day. Your dad would sit and watch, and you would skate all day, and
Dude,
like you'd get forced to leave the park.
the ski resort was my babysitter.
Okay.
But I was so young that no, the park wasn't my babysitter. My dad literally would come there, or like my friend's dad would pull up with us and just watch us skate or hang out while we skated for like an hour to 4 hours. And yeah, we just kind of did our thing, have fun doing it. Didn't really think much of it. It was just that shit was just so much fun. I'm pretty sure first time I went to this actual skate park, I was having so much fun. Like I don't think there was a learning curve. I was just rolling off stuff and like just doing what you do on a skateboard and not thinking about it really. Yeah, I think my dad wanted me to leave, and I remember I was so like ashamed of it for the next few years. But I pitched the biggest fit. I was like so bummed to leave. So definitely was meant to be in a place like that. So skateboarding and having a skate park that close, it was very special.
Was it just devastating when it shut down?
Honestly, I don't think it was devastating, but we were definitely bummed.
You already had snowboarding at that point, right? Because I think your parents went snowboarding with you once and it sucked for you. And then you go with a buddy and his dad one year and you're like, get hooked right away. And then snowboarding becomes everything and almost replaces skateboarding.
Actually, I think my skate park shut down and I had a little lull leading into the winter, or maybe through the winter, where I didn't really. I mean, I guess I was skating. My dad ended up like building me a skate ramp. Shouts out to him for that.
Oh,
That was
sick.
fucking sick. But I had a little lull where I wasn't fully focused on it, I guess, and realized that all my friends were snowboarding. It became a very big realization when I think I invited all my friends to the skate park for a skate birthday party, but one of my friends had a snowboard birthday party, but I couldn't go because I didn't snowboard.
Okay.
That might have been one of the final straws. Long story short, I realized that all my friends were snowboarding, so I figured I'd give it another try.
How far was Catalucci from your house, your local mountain?
30 minutes proper.
Okay, so not too far, so you can go a lot. And with riding, is it something like skateboarding where you're able to just pick up all the things from skate and just bring it right to snow and it's almost easier on a snowboard?
Straight up, straight up. I mean, first time I got set up regular and didn't know about snow skateboarding. And then this time I had skateboard before and then got set up goofy, like at the way I skate, with a friend and not just an instructor. And that friend, all his friends helped run the train park. So I got set in the right direction off the rip because the bunny lift was right above the train park. So I was naturally just put right in front of the train park and wanted to do it immediately. I was hitting features and stuff my first night. I wanted to hit a box my first night. I remember that for sure.
That's crazy because most people don't do that the first time they're on snow. They have to figure out their edges first, but you didn't have to do that. And I'm sure that's obvious to everyone out there. They're like, whoa, this kid's brand new and he's doing this stuff already. But do you also get into the culture of everything as well? Because I know that Recess is your shop and you eventually get sponsored by them. But were you like going to the shop and watching videos and getting to know everybody in the whole scene there? And did you have riders that you looked up to?
Well, luckily, everyone at the train park, they weren't just, I feel like nowadays, some kids are just like, at the train park because they think it's cool. But these kids were actually like into snowboarding, knew everyone. I was at Catalucci, which is about an hour and a half, 2 hours from Boone,
Okay.
where Recess is and where App Ski Mountain is. And the parks are booming over there at this time. I mean, this is 2007, 2008, 2009. So we know how those years are. The culture is booming. So luckily, all the kids who were in train parks, they knew what was good and, were connected to Boone as well. And there was a ton of events happening up there. So naturally, I would just kick it at the park. Like they dropped me off, like my parents or friends would drop me off and me and my friends would just kick it at the park. Naturally, we'd just hang out with these kids and they would either show us videos or, just kind of point us in the right direction. And funny enough, they actually had a ton of mini corrugateds and stuff. And there was a ton of like little side space. There was this little shack that they kicked it at that like, overlooked the park basically. And they would just let us build whatever we want, like just fuck around and build whatever we want, like as long as it was off the trail. So we would ride the mountain hit the rails and then come kick it in the park when we got tired or got a little bored. And then we would just end up hanging out, making features of our own. And yeah, they kind of told us everything about snowboarding. And
Did you have any pros that you looked up to too? Just like watching the Absinthe movies or anything like that? Were there people that stuck out that you're like, oh, I like that guy's style? Because there's really no one that has style like you. So I wonder if there was anybody that you emulated or it's your shit all just came from you.
genuinely, the first year of snowboarding was just me. Once I met these guys at the park, like shouts out Luke Sutton, Jake Sutton, those are the boys. Thomas Graham, he actually was a park builder in Utah. He went back to Catalucci. But those guys, they would just tell us about people like Jaeger Bailey and Helder Helgeson and like just show us stuff and show us videos. And they were making their own videos too. They were on Air Blaster. So they were like, making videos and showing us videos and showing us their stuff. But funny enough, I didn't really watch snowboarding like that. I didn't really watch snowboarding until I like, went to events and started winning DVDs and stuff. And then it kind of naturally, started to fall in love with it. But my beginning of snowboarding was not because of snowboarding. It was because my friends were doing it and I skateboarded first. And pretty much I just kind of engulfed into the culture after starting. But really, it was just fun. It was just fucking fun.
It's time for my second round of sponsors, and my final sponsor this round is Outdoor Research. And while I have long loved OR because they make the best, most waterproof, warmest outerwear in the world that's engineered and tested right here in the miserable conditions that the Pacific Northwest can deliver, that's just what OR makes in the winter. And while everyone out there knows that OR makes the best lightweight hiking pants ever built, the men's and women's Freewheel mountain bike collection, a collection of high-performance bike apparel, is setting the standard for functional and durable mountain bike gear. Every detail has been thought of, so you don't have to think about the fit of your gear. You can focus on the terrain and getting yourself into your flow state. It's time to return to dirt, and OR has the trail-ready gear to get you out there in comfort and style. To upgrade your fit, head on over to outdoorresearch.com and check out the Freewheel collection. Those are my sponsors. Now let's jump back into the podcast. The next step into the culture that you make, it's like you go from riding in North Carolina and maybe in Virginia and all places like that, but then you get to go to Copper Mountain. I think your mom's from Colorado as well, but you go to Copper Mountain for Woodward Copper. And how important was Woodward to your development?
Oh, very important. Because, I engulfed into the culture in North Carolina, but it was very raw. It was very raw love for snowboarding there. Like, I was just happened to be in a very like booming culture. But compared to the rest of the world, it wasn't really much. I didn't have a ton of snowboard friends who like trying to go pro or do the thing. I just had friends who, snowboard as a hobby and would go snowboarding with me, which is sick. It was honestly a great way to start. But once I went to a place like Woodward Copper where I realized there was a whole ass culture of kids my age who, were pursuing snowboarding. And there was coaches and there was actual like train parks fully dedicated to it. And, there was mountains bigger than 2 lifts or 3 lifts.
Yeah.
And places like the barn, they had filmers and everything. I was like, I truly like engulfed into a little real culture of snowboarding and, I got the summer camp experience.
That's heaven for you, right? When you first get there and you're like, hey, there's ramps. We've got our lane up here. We got Chad Otterstrom is going to be your coach. That's got to be just pure heaven.
Yeah, everyone's about it. Everyone's about that life. Everyone's snowboarding. Everyone's like blah, 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 doing all the things. It was genuinely heaven. I remember coming from North Carolina up there. Like, I would go so hard for 2.5 days. And always on the third day when I went to the barn for the barn session, I would hit a fucking wall because the altitude would catch up to me.
Okay.
Because I was moving like so fast and bouncing off the walls.
And you're like an ADD kid that doesn't stop, right? I don't know if you're medicated or not,
stop.
But you're definitely ADD.
Yeah, don't stop. Don't stop. So yeah, I would have to, reevaluate, drink water and chill and reset. But it truly was like having so much fun I couldn't see straight. And funny enough, I had a super strong friend group at home. So those are my people too. But it felt like I was like actually, with my people, doing the thing. It was super sick, dude.
Well, it's probably the first time you can see the next level of like, it's not just me and my boys at the lift taking park laps. It's like, holy shit, there's a whole nother world. And, there's camps and pros and all this stuff that I'm seeing firsthand. Yeah. And then when you see like a pro level rider in person for the first time, it's pretty amazing. Just the vision that they have when they look at something that looks like a vertical wall of snow and they're like, I'm going to go 20 miles an hour and hit that. And I'm going to launch 25 feet up in the air. And you're like, wait, you're going to use that wall as a kicker? And they're like, yeah, it's a kicker. It's not a wall.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I mean, that shit was crazy. I remember all that shit was crazy. Just seeing pros coming through, throwing double flips and stuff, and honestly, just embodying, what it meant. I remember like Gretchen Weiler, seeing her, and then seeing her on X Games that year. I was like, it was just all crazy. So yeah, it really was an introduction to the next level.
And you have Chad Otterstrom telling your parents that you need to go to Stratton Mountain School or to some kind of academy because he can see the talent that you have. And the only way to kind of foster that talent is to be at one of these academies, because in North Carolina, you're not going to be able to do more than just what Zeb Powell can make you do.
Yeah, pretty much. It was like introduction to the next level, but also the next level was kind of getting introduced to me too. Like, the snowboard world hadn't seen me. I just been in North Carolina. We got a strong community, but only a few people get out of it. I think it's growing now, but it was weird. It felt like its own little world. You don't really look too far past it. So to just happen to find a snowboard camp poster and tell my parents I want to go and be lucky enough to get to go was crazy. And then I just happened to meet Chad. Chad ended up being my coach and recommended my parents that I really do the thing and pursue it.
And so you go to that school, and we could talk about school a bunch, but we're going to get pressed for time, so we're not going to. But I think the first contest that you end up winning up there is Chris Grenier threw some hammers contest. You win that thing, and that's kind of like where everybody in New England finds out who Zeb Powell is, I feel like. But then the next big contest is the Red Bull All Snow. It's like an amateur contest, but when you win a Red Bull contest, is that where everyone gets to know who you are?
Yeah, I'd say Holiday Hammers with Chris really set the pace. It was like the first time I kind of proved to myself, or like, first time I really kind of shined on a snowboard, outside of USASA comps.
And against other big names.
Yeah. And there was a lot of people coming up around that time. I didn't really know them either, but I was just kind of doing my thing. And All Snow was a sick one because I think that one was more special because this is when C Sessions was popping, and like, those videos were crazy. That's when that shit was crazy. We were looking for a new C Session every month, basically, or like every week almost too. So to be at Corinthia having that All Snow event, one, they just went so hard for the course. Like all the rest were sick, but our course was unmatched. Like they went so hard for it, and it was so sick. But I think I was fostering skills at that event. But I was also like genuinely going toe to toe, with people like Max Lyon and Sean Murphy and like all the guys from the C Sessions. And it wasn't like I was trying to go toe to toe. I was just like really just kind of pushing my limits, and just ended up on the top of the podium. And I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. I think going toe to toe with that roster, Corinthia was like one of the most heavy parks, I think, on the East Coast.
For sure, and they take a lot of pride in their park there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of pride in it, but they also ride it the best, too. So it was sick to, like, rise to that level and, shred with them and see it all come to life. It was crazy, dude.
Is that win one of those things where you're like, I'm not thinking about college or any school after I'm done with SMS. I am just going to be a pro snowboarder because I can see the path now and it's there for me?
Honestly, no. I think I just kind of kept snowboarding, dude. I wasn't really thinking like that.
Huh.
I was really still just snowboarding. Yeah, I didn't really think about much but snowboarding. I didn't think about the future of it or anything. I was just excited to be snowboarding with the homies and, living that fucking life of, getting to go to a snowboard school and travel and go to these events and, do the thing and just kind of be in it.
Well, the next thing you unlock is you get the USSA Hardest Charger Award in 2017, and that gets you a trip to High Cascade Snowboard Camp. Was that your first time going to Hood?
No, I actually had gone a few years with SMS, and I think I had bought a session the year before. Yeah, maybe I did just go with SMS. But Yeah, I got to go to High Cascade and holy shit, that was insane for sure.
Is that where you meet the whole industry and where like more sponsors start starting and stuff? Because while not everybody is at the Red Bull All-Star or anything, everybody's at summer camp in the summer. Like everyone who matters, all the industry players seem to go through there. And is that where you meet everyone?
Well, yeah, actually, Red Bull All Snow, I ended up catching the eye of a Red Bull Scout, but I was, I think, 16 at that time. So that did happen there. That was like the one connection I made there. Yeah, yeah. I think I was already on Nitro, but then I went to that camp and honestly just did my thing again. I think I was skating a lot too. That's when I was skating barefoot in the parks and shit. Yeah, I feel like this is my second year by this chance, but I ended up getting to go to the Maryland Mini Pipe contest too at that same year, and everyone was just there, and I was just doing my thing. And I think I didn't really know. I was just again just hyped to be there, but it was definitely like turning heads. I ended up getting approached by 32 that summer when I got back. I remember recess. JP at recess, the manager hit me up. He's like, "Yo, 32's looking to talk to you, and just talk about possibly getting you on for boots and stuff." And I was like, "Holy shit, that's crazy!" And then yeah, so that's kind of one of the next steps for sure, going to High Cascade and just showing out there.
And so you get High Cascade under your belt. You've got sponsors under your belt. You're a senior in like 2019. You're a pro snowboarder, but you're not really a contest guy. And I'm not sure what film projects you were part of earlier on. And I'd want to ask if there was a plan going on, but it really didn't matter if there was a plan because the next year in 2020, that's the first year of Knucklehuck. And first, how did you get in X and how did you find out you had the invite?
I think the year before I was still at school and they did Knucklehuck, and my coach was connected to some of the people who helped run X Games because they went to SMS as well.
Okay.
So like he was kind of trying to pull strings, but I wasn't like too like whatever about it. But then I saw the event and I was like, ah, damn, like, yeah, it does feel like I should be there. So I ended up the next day. This is kind of when I started popping on knuckles and shit. Next day, I ended up trying this double off the knuckle and just posted it, and the shit exploded. Like, I might have said something about X Games, but I don't know. I just remember, I'm pretty sure a ton of people commented, and then I think like Sage Kotzenberg was like, "You should have been at X Games or some shit." Maybe I have to go look, but literally all the pros were commenting. Everyone was commenting. Like the shit was going crazy, and I mean that was kind of my like I wasn't gonna say anything, but that was like my way of saying something was I
Hey,
was
look
like,
what
all
I
right.
can do off of this thing.
I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna just try this shit, and I didn't even need to land it. I just tried it and posted it, and the shit looked so crazy that people were tweaking on it.
So you get in, and then I mean, X Games has got to be a dream come true. I mean, all this stuff actually doesn't seem like a dream come true. You're kind of like, oh yeah, I was just kind of doing my thing, and this happened, and this happened. Was X Games like that, or when you got the invite, were you genuinely stoked?
Yeah, I mean, I guess all the shit's a dream come true, but I just kind of do it, you know? It's like I'm excited. It's like this shit would be cool to happen, but I'm not like banking on it. I'm more banking on myself doing what the fuck I can do, you know?
Yep.
And then I'm not working to be at the X Games. Like I'm just working to be the best person I can. In return, X Games, sponsors, blah, 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 X will come, you know? Yeah, I think X Games, that just felt like a movie. Small town person, goes to Hollywood and,
Yeah.
sees all the crazy actors and, sees all the crazy places. And that's literally what it felt like. I was like, I remember like going to check in and, check in is like right next to the athlete lounge. It's like, the entrance to the athlete lounge. So I'm like low key seeing some of the pros like walk in and like you kind of tell, you can just feel the energy. Like everyone's like there, and I was like checking in. I was like, I remember being so nervous. I walked through those curtains into the athlete lounge, and then I had thought my boots were gonna get shipped to my friend's house, and they were cooked from the last event, like so smelly. So I threw them away. I threw them away at the check-in gate for the airport, um, straight up. So I left them in Michigan in a trash can. And I'm going to X Games. My athlete manager's taking me from Red Bull, and literally had to go on a wild goose chase to find boots because they ended up not being where I thought they were. So that happened. Yeah, I remember being nervous about just going in there. I remember finally getting up there and dropping in, and it actually just felt like a video game or a movie or whatever, like that competition where you're under the lights, because it literally was like it felt straight up like a movie. Like I think most of these kids, they're doing the big competitions and like it's kind of gradually happening, but for me it was just like I just got dropped into it. Like I went from like the proving yourself level like straight to
The Super Bowl.
yeah, straight up. So, so the switch up was crazy, and I remember feeling that way too. It's like there was no really like gradually getting into it. It was like straight from like one level in 1 year of pushing really hard to like I swear I could actually make my life into a video game and it would flow nice. Like it would flow like one of the Tony Hawk games. I swear to God.
Well, with that first X Games, though, I mean, when you're getting your credential and you're looking in the athlete lounge, that's the last time you are probably ever able to be a normal Zeb Powell, because after you win that gold medal, everything changes because a big spotlight is shown on your head since that first year that you haven't been able to escape. I think that's a good thing, but did your life get a lot crazier and change a lot after that first gold?
Oh yeah, it's got so much crazier. I remember we did this thing called the sliding tour. And I remember going to that this year. It was crazy. Like a ton of kids had the heart shaped glasses. They were asked for signatures. And we had already been building a fan base for sliding tour actually. So there was a little bit of rumbling first. But then for the have that fan base built and then me win X Games, it's like built it. Like it just made it like boom crazier on the East Coast and then everywhere. So yeah, I think everything got crazier after that. So it was madness.
And I am going to respect your time because I was a little late doing this interview, which sucks for me, but that's kind of how life goes sometimes because I was an idiot and I thought of the wrong time. So I'm only going to go with a couple more questions before I go into my last segment. One thing I can't not talk about is your pro model. It comes in 3 sizes. It's like your normal 57. You've got like a big powder gun and then like the psycho long stick. And you've always been known for riding like a 205 and doing crazy shit on a weird ass board. And in the beginning of your career, for most of your career, you've been known as a guy who's messing around in the park and just all over the mountain, but in the park a lot. And is there any benefit to a longboard other than the extra weight and maybe a little bit more area to land? Or is it more you're just showing that you can do all this shit on a long ass board?
I'd say the one benefit is going fast is easier, maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
You have to turn it, right?
yeah, actually, yeah, it's very true. The other benefit is, yeah, turning is more stable. Um, landing can be easier. Can, keyword.
Yeah, but that board can body you too, huh? When it just like takes
Oh
over.
yeah, you can land and die too. Like that thing has a mind of its own. You got to command it, or it's gonna command you. So yeah, there's not really any benefit, rather than really. I think again, like we're talking, it's like it genuinely makes you have to think different. Like we are talking about with the best way to progress slope style or spinning or whatever the hell is, to really nerf kids, give them guidelines so they have to think differently. That's what this sport helps me do. It's helped me find power for sure, but I also think differently about what tricks I'm going to do and how I'm going to do them and everything. So I just find it's a challenge, but it's a fun challenge. And I'm fully here for it, on some Excalibur shit.
When you get on a 157, is it like riding a toy for you?
I mean, my toy is a 62.
Which is big for a lot of people.
Yeah, that word's still, people are like, what the hell? I mean, yeah, honestly, the way the board's built, it's sturdy as hell. So definitely doesn't feel like a toy, but it's definitely a different approach for sure.
A lot easier to spin.
Yeah, it's way better for me to start out on a small board than go to a big board rather than go from a big board to a small board because my like literal biomechanics, body mechanics are all ramped up because of how much more output or how much input I have to put or yeah, input, output, whatever I have to put into moving the board around, like power output is way different for sure.
All right. And then I will also ask you, what do you have on tap for this season? Do you have anything, or is it just kind of like what you'll follow the weather?
So this season, I was saying I've been telling people, I mean, it's true. I feel like last season was kind of like a building season. I don't feel like I did too much. It was more like kind of, I think we're growing so fast. It's like our biggest struggle isn't being the best snowboarder, but, kind of being the best brand, I guess, or, kind of, I got quite a few people on my team. So kind of operating in sync and, operating the best way is harder than just, it doesn't really matter about being the best snowboarder anymore. It's really like, how can we make the biggest impact? And it's a hard conversation to have. And it's an ongoing conversation just because we really can move in any direction that we want. It's a blessing to be able to move any direction, but also it's like, okay, let's take a step back and really map out what we want to do. So I think this year it's more building blocks.
Figuring out how to use your platform?
Yeah, how to really harness this power and use it to the best of its ability, honor the gift.
Awesome, man. Well, that is the base of the podcast. I end everything with inappropriate questions. It's a segment where I try to get someone to come up with 3 questions, and they can be anything. I wasn't able to get anybody, unfortunately, so I'm going to come up with 3 inappropriate questions for you. I looked at my notes. Somehow I deleted the 3 inappropriate questions that I had, but I'm pretty good at this, so I will just come up with 3 on the spot right now. My first inappropriate question: you've spent a lot of time in skate parks in your life, and you grew up in skate parks, it seems like. A lot of weird shit can happen at skate parks. What's the craziest thing that you've seen happen at a skate park?
Ooh, the craziest thing I've seen happen at a skate park? Dude.
I mean, you've got like the group of kids in the bowl smoking weed. You've got the girls sitting there watching. You've got like a bunch of different groups that don't like each other because they're on different products. Have you seen any wild shit at a skate park?
I mean, I feel like it's just a classic shit like that, People doing crack and stuff. Like, I haven't been to enough skate parks recently to know. I mean, I can go check right now. I'm next to the Denver skate park. That one's crazy all the time.
It's all right. You don't need to go check. Well, I will go with your second inappropriate question. And I'm going to assume that you'll go out and have drinks with the boys when you're out traveling and doing stuff. Has there been a crazy night where you woke up the next morning and you're like, what the fuck happened last night?
Dang. Huh. I've definitely had crazy nights for sure. There was one time in Burlington though. It was like COVID-19 time still, but it's finally becoming spring in a college town. And it was just perfect day, but it ended up being like a party on one of the beaches, and it was like a crazy party. And we thought it was gonna be chill, so we didn't bring that much to drink. But it ended up being so crazy that we had to like go back and get more to drink, and ended up going back. I had my friend up from high school too, and I was all my other friends. And yeah, I don't know, the day just goes on. But I don't know. I just remember waking up and it's probably like 6:37 at night now. And I'm in my room, right, like in my apartment, which my friends are still up, but I don't remember how I got there. But the funniest thing is I woke up the only way, because I guess I had met girls at the beach and they had given me like all these invites to parties. So I had all the information, but I was asleep.
Right.
And, gone. I remember literally the only thing that got me to wake up was the song Unwritten. They were playing music because they know I love music. I usually keep this giant speaker on me from JBL.
Okay.
And I had that, and they were playing it, and they were playing Unwritten. And I think I literally just started singing the lyrics and waking up. And they were like, oh my God, you're awake. And I was like, yeah, what's up? And I look across at my friend that's up from high school sitting there, passed out as well. He had pissed his pants. And that was just really funny to we were the ones that passed out. I didn't piss my pants, but it was just funny to wake up to that song. And then he proceeded to go out for the night. But I think that one still trumps a lot of times I've had. I don't really wake up not remembering much.
Well, we will take that one. For your final inappropriate question, I usually talk about money a lot in the podcast because I like to know how people do, and I ask questions that make people uncomfortable. I'll do it in inappropriate questions. Your sponsors, you mentioned you have JBL. We said you have Red Bull, you have Burton, you have Jordan, and there's probably someone I'm missing in there. But when you think about what you can make as a snowboarder, I'm not going to ask you a finite number, but could you make $500,000 being a professional snowboarder? I know most people can't, but can Zeb Powell?
Almost.
Okay.
I can almost make that. To keep the lights on, you can't. I mean, as of now.
I mean, that's incredible because you're the only snowboarder out there. I mean, while you do perform at Knuckle Huck, You're more of a creative dude who goes to different cool events and showcases what can look amazing on a snowboard. And it's not like you have to win. Like, you probably don't have any incentive stuff in your contract for victory schedule. It's more just be Zeb.
Yeah, I'm truly blessed to have created that lane for myself.
I mean, it's you and Scott Stevens, right, who have done that?
Oh my God, Scott's such a fucking legend. I love him.
But you two are the only ones that don't need to really compete as much as people just want to see what you guys got going on.
Yeah, it's so fun. I'll say to that point too, it's, can you make over $500,000? It's one thing to make it too, but it's another thing to keep it, Like, how do you keep it going in? Like, where does the money go? And how do you, maintain everything? Maintain your body, maintain your squad, like maintain like what you're doing. There's a lot more to it, and I'm financially illiterate as of now. I got people around me to help maintain, but I'm still learning so much, dude. And to really feel comfortable, but it's still gonna take a second. Luckily, I don't gotta worry about paying for food and stuff, but to get to a level where I can like say fuck you, which I'm never gonna do. it's still a fucking long time until that, and either way, I'm pouring back into my friends and my fam, and just making a dope life, making a fun life, where I can take the squad with me.
Well, you've made a fun life, and it's been fun for everybody watching it too, because that's the beauty of your riding, is it looks like you're having so much more fun than almost anybody else out there. And I know there's a lot of people out there having fun, but you can just see it on your face in the way that you ride, and it's pretty impressive. And that's Inappropriate Questions, and that's our podcast. And you are what the spirit of these sports are, having fun while pushing not only the style and how features are ridden, but having an impact on the product itself. And that's what you're doing with the longer boards that maybe not everybody else is riding, but you're riding and showing that you can actually do stuff on these things that most people wouldn't be able to do. And unlike most snowboarders, you can just exist and redefine style and push snowboarding. And that's all you need to do to be a professional snowboarder. And that's what people want to see out of you. You've been doing that for a while. You've made the Powell name proud. I thank you for telling your story, and I thank you for your time.
Hey, I thank you so much. I appreciate you. Let me jump on here and talk some shit with you.
So that was time with Zeb Powell. And a dude like Zeb, he's the kind of guy that levels up a sport with style and attitude. This is a guy who's never going to win a major contest because he doesn't have those crazy tricks. And when I say major contest, I'm talking about things other than the X Games knuckle huck and some of the smaller, cooler, stylish events that he does. But the big events like the X Games slopestyle and things like that, he doesn't have the tricks that those dudes have, but they don't have the style that Zeb Powell has. And that's what Zeb's all about, making things look good, making things look fun, and making things look easy. And that's what he does time after time. On top of that, Zeb is so laid back, especially for as busy as the dude is, that it was refreshing to chat with him. And I can't wait to see how his career evolves in the future, because we're really just at the beginning, and Zeb is going to blow up even more than he already has. That's the podcast. I only have 3 more of these left, and they will all be awesome if I do my job right. If I don't do my job right, well, they will suck. But good thing for you is I usually do my job right, and I know these last 3 podcasts are going to be epic. I'll leave you with this. If you need stickers, banners, or tents, please hit me up at mike.powell@diecutstickers.com. I really need to start selling things before I lose my job. It's only a matter of time. But I'd love for you to buy some stickers, tents, or banners for me, so please email me at diecut. I'd also love it if you please support my incredible sponsors who make this podcast happen. They are Elan Skis and Stanley. And finally, I want to tell you, like I do every week, have a great week, everyone.